Welcome to our show, Insight, coming to you from the City of Angels, Los Angeles, the place where Hollywood dreams come true. Sometimes. Where gridlock traffic is the norm and a place where most every single nationality has its own little section of the city. Chinatown, Koreatown, East LA, Beverly Hills, Baldwin Hills, and so many more. Our show, Insight, is filmed at our studios located at one of the most iconic boulevards in the world, the Sunset Strip. Yes, and right across the street is the Chateau Marmont Hotel, where movie deals are made. And you can pay $911 a night for a room, or if you want to splurge, you can stay in the two-bedroom penthouse for a mere $4,500 per night. Ah, Los Angeles, a city rich in culture and Hollywood lore. And today we bring you some of that in our show, an insight into the personal stories of people who make this city roar. Welcome to Insight with Bel. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We all know the Hollywood megastars, the Oscar-winning actors, directors, cinematographers, writers, composers, and every single one of them has their particular story of how they started their career, armed with only a dream and the passion to make their dream come true. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there are at least 54,160 actors in the U.S. alone. Only 2% of those actors are able to make a living by acting. The others usually need to subsidize their dreams by working odd jobs. And according to the study, 2/3 of actors wash out after their first year of acting. We recently interviewed actress, writer, and producer Selena Ringel, whose childhood dream was to be an actress. Her amazing can-do attitude and hard work has resulted in her starring in 2 films, with the third one ready for distribution. To do that, she first became a producer and created her own path to becoming a starring actress. Selena Ringel was born in the U.S. but grew up in Guadalajara, Mexico, with her Mexican father and American Jewish mom. After moving to the U.S., she attended Loyola Marymount and got her master's at the American Film Institute, where she met her husband, the director of all her films. They then opened up their production company, Two Hands Productions. Prior to You, Me, and Her, Selena produced 2 other films, selling one to HBO and the other to Netflix, where she also sold her comedy special, 2 Moms, 1 Mic. All this while being a mother of 2. I had the pleasure of interviewing Selena about her career and her latest film. Let's take a look. Welcome, Selena.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So tell us about what got you into wanting to be a filmmaker, and then we'll come up to talk about your latest film. But why did you decide you wanted to be a comedian and also a filmmaker?
Well, I've always wanted to be a filmmaker. So I actually, that's what I went to Loyola Marymount. I studied film. Then I worked in distribution for a year. Then I went to AFI. I did my master's in film at AFI as a producer. And I remember when I was very young, I grew up in Mexico, in Guadalajara. And I always wanted to be an actress. So that was just always what I was trying to do. But there were a few things that were happening, but it was really like few and far between. And I was actually booking significantly stuff there.
As an actress.
As an actress. But part of it was also because, my mom's American, my dad's Mexican. So my English was really good. So a lot of the stuff that was happening there where they needed someone who had really perfect English, I was kind of like the right, so I was doing pretty well. And I remember at some point telling my parents, like, I kind of just want to do this full time. And they were like, no, you have to finish school. It's kind of like out of the question for you to stop school to go do this. So I was like, okay. So I finished school, I came to LA, and then I kind of had like a little bit of like an La La Land moment, where Emma Stone, like I walked into the audition room and everyone kind of looked like me, and I felt like it was very overwhelming, and everyone had this huge resume and they've been doing it for years. And I think I just took myself out of the equation. I just thought like, this is too hard. It's like you sit in traffic for an hour You get
Yeah.
2 minutes in the room. Everybody else has been sitting here for an hour too. Like it just felt all of a sudden like, wait, I don't know if I can actually do this. So I decided that instead of being an actor, I would be a producer because in my mind, a producer has a lot more control, which is funny now looking back because that's not necessarily true either. But anyway, I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm going to be a producer, then I'll control what I do. I'll feel like, things are a little bit more in my hands, etc. Okay, so then I go to AFI, I do my master's in producing, and as I was doing that, I was actually doing a lot of casting for other people. I was producing stuff for people. I was reading a lot of stuff. And I started writing my own material. And when I was casting things for other people, I kept like really enjoying the casting process. And I was always kind of really getting into the read with other actors. And it's so funny because I've actually had like a 10-year career in casting, which I don't even talk about because it's just like not necessarily what I was trying to focus on. It's just kind of something that happened to me while I was trying to do all these other things. But basically, long story short, I graduated from AFI. I started my production company with my husband, and I had written this feature that I produced, that I cast, that my husband directed. That was our first feature.
Which one was that?
That one was called The Best People. And on Amazon, it was sold through Samuel Goldwyn, and it's actually available, I think, in like over 50 countries.
They're clearly not thinking this through. Johnny is not ready to get married.
My mom passed away not too long ago, and Claire's just marrying this guy to not feel the loss. So what are we gonna do?
I don't know, maybe we can come up with a plan to ruin the wedding.
Okay. Yeah.
It really is interesting. Some people, some women, when they start in the business, they want to be actresses like you did.
Yeah.
Right. And although the power doesn't really like wholly stay in producing, like you said,
Yeah.
once you're well-rounded,
Yeah.
you have so many more chances to do the projects that you want to do because you're writing them.
Yeah.
Right.
The thing is, yeah, it's interesting. I feel like at the end of the day, without even realizing it, I was giving myself a lot more opportunities by having had the journey that I had, because by the time I got to making my second feature, I was like, wait a minute, I'm writing this. I'm finding the money for this. I'm finding the crew for this. I'm like, why can't I be the main actress? You know what I'm saying? Like, who decided that not me? Me. I was the one who decided not me. And so then I was like, I'm just gonna make myself the lead of this movie. And I did. And what's so crazy about that movie was that I was actually pregnant. So that was Single Mother by Choice. And I actually filmed once a month throughout my entire real pregnancy during the pandemic, which obviously that was not on purpose. We thought we were making one movie, and then the pandemic hit, and we had to completely rewrite the movie and make a different movie so that we could keep shooting. And so we had a movie. A lot of people just had to go on pause.
But that's interesting because had you not been the producer and your husband not been the director, when the pandemic hit, you would have said, okay, well, this isn't happening. But you were able to pivot.
Yes.
And rewrite some of the story so that it could include the pregnancy and
Confirmed.
Ultrasound appointments are just being canceled. I've talked to the hospital and it seems they are requiring women to deliver with an N95 mask on.
Parece película de zombies.
Serio, you should be taking this serious. What are you doing here?
Lift your shirt. I want to see your belly. Oh, you're huge, huh?
Everything just started escalating so quickly.
Are you just not going to come home?
Estás literal cerrando la compañía.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I
I don't want to do this all.
Yeah, and also, I mean, we had to pivot with that, it's like we lost our crew. Like we couldn't, because I was also actually pregnant. So like I couldn't have, this was an indie movie, but we had like a 25-person crew. I couldn't have 25 people around me and just take my chance and see if I get COVID. Like at the time, it was like the zombie apocalypse. Like we all thought we were gonna die. So we were like, how do we keep making this movie and like not put my baby in danger, So it was like, well, I guess we just can't have a crew anymore. So then my husband actually bought the camera, learned how to use it on Zoom because he's not a cinematographer. So
Wow.
he had to actually like take lessons on Zoom on how to use the camera. And then I became like the production designer. I did my own makeup. Like and it was funny because we'd have to like rewatch things to be able to place things back where they were in the first scenes because we're trying to keep continuity, but now we don't have a crew. So we don't have like any help.
Oh my
So
gosh.
crazy making.
That is amazing. And
Yeah.
and you were pregnant at the
Yeah,
same time.
I was actually pregnant, so that was part of why we also had to be so careful. And it was also a very scary time to be pregnant. But I think in a way it kind of kept us sane because there was so much that was out of our control and there was so much I wasn't allowed to do that just being able to like keep focusing on finishing this movie was like keeping us like, um yeah, it was a really
Where did you meet your husband? Did you meet him in school?
Yeah, at AFI, at AFI. And then that movie, we actually sold to HBO. So what's really crazy about that movie was that, and it was, I mean, I think we made a good movie, but I also think it was like miracle timing, right? Because all of a sudden we're in the height of the pandemic. There's absolutely no content at all because everything's been shut down except for we just kept going because we were such a small, like we ended up going from 25 people crew to like just me and my husband doing everything and just continuing to make the movie. So then all of a sudden it was like we were like the little train that could. And then we had this like product that was ready to go in a moment where nothing was available because everyone had to shut down. So then we were able to actually get like a really good deal. We like doubled our investment and sold it directly to HBO, which is like
Wow.
incredible.
So then let's fast forward to your second movie because that was the second movie.
Yeah. So this is now my third.
Single Mother by Choice. But then your third movie, tell us about your third movie.
Yeah, so my third movie was based on, well, I had already had my son at that point. And my husband and I went on a trip to Vegas actually. And this woman was kind of like hitting on me at this club in Vegas, which is not something that I've ever experienced before. Like I really haven't had that experience before, but when it happened, I actually kind of thought to myself, like, this is a really beautiful woman. Like, I don't know, like I would be curious. And it was weird. Like I had this moment where I realized like, now I'm married. I've been with this person for 10 years. Like, I'm not a cheater. I'm not a liar, but so what does that mean? Like, is this just it? Like, you know what I'm saying? And then this like beautiful woman seemed to like really want to like kiss me and get to know me. And I felt like, like I wonder, what my husband would say. Obviously he was there, when this was all happening. So I asked him, I was like, I think I would be kind of curious to see what it's like to be with a woman. What do you think? And he was like, oh my God, are you joking? Like, yes, of course. Like, and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't think it was gonna be like,
this is so funny because to me, men, that's something that they're totally on board. Most men are totally on board for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. And by the way, I think if I would have said, hey, there's this hot guy hitting on me, would that be okay? He would
No.
be like, no. So anyway, but long story short, she took my phone number. And then she actually never called me, which is funny because it was like, I remember that whole night, like me and my husband were having these conversations of like, so what if she says this? And then what do I say? But then what should we do? But I don't know. Are we being crazy? Maybe we shouldn't do this. I don't know. You know what? But what if I say this and then you say that? And like, we had like, and it was so funny over this thing that never happened, by the way, because this person.
And that's what's hilarious. That's what's in the movie. And
yeah,
the way you're telling it, it was so authentic. It comes from reality, right?
How was the rest of your Mexico trip? Did you have the threesome you guys wanted?
Oh,
What?
no.
Te voy a extrañar mucho. ¿Te escuchaste?
This is our first trip without the little guy. This is a special occasion.
It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have fun.
Relax, exhale deeply. I've been waiting for you. You can at least ask if I wanted to.
Would you have wanted to?
I was so sure he wasn't the one that I was just totally myself.
That's beautiful. It was. Past tense? People always congratulate you when you've been together for like a really long time, but that doesn't mean that you've been like happily together. You have this incredible energy. Like mom energy?
You used to be crazy. You have crazy eyes.
I mean, I'd like to have sex with other people. So have you always been attracted to women?
I mean, now that you're asking, maybe yeah. I've just never really done anything about it.
We should go out.
And I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, we're so connected right now. Just like over this conversation, like we were laughing so much. We were having so much fun, just thinking about what we would say to this woman.
And in the movie, the way you set it up is that your husband in the movie and yourself are having like issues with careers, and life at home is a little bit stale and a little bit, you're separate. So it really, really leads you to the point where you connect on this, and then you get closer.
Well, and I think also, I mean, I think I'm very lucky and I have a very nice marriage. I really love my husband, but obviously we have moments of that, so I think and I think most marriages do. I think it's like marriages, my experience of it is kind of like there's ebbs and flows, right? So there's like flows where everything feels really good and you're like, oh my God, I totally know why I'm with this person. We're such a great team. This is amazing. And then there's moments where you're like, why am I married to this person? I can't stand this person right now. And then you're like, oh, they just did. Okay, now I remember. Okay, it's because we're a really good team. It's because, you know what I'm saying? So I think like part of what we did, which was also a little scary for both of us, was that we took some things that were real and we kind of put them in there, and then we exaggerated those things. But even in doing that, there was like a lot of conversations where it was like, wait, what, do you think I'm really like that? And it was like, well, no, we're trying to go to like a real place. And it's like, okay, but how real are we, And so it was a lot of psychology just between the two of us trying to explore how honest we wanted to be with these characters about where they're at. And also like, how bad is the marriage, and like how, I like characters that are flawed. So both the lead characters are flawed, but it's like you also want them to be likable enough that people are willing to go on the journey, and that was another thing we had to really like tackle together. Like, is she likable enough? Is he likable enough, even though these are people with flaws?
Yeah, that your writing is really good because, you get that. It's not like a one note character either. All of the characters are not one note. They're very, they're very multifaceted. But you mentioned something about, going through all this discussion that you as a producer, actress, lead actress, and your husband as a director, you're working together. That already in itself is something. Like, how hard is it to work with your husband in this situation? And then on top of that, you're putting some of your real life story in. So
How do you find working from the last movie, Single Mother by Choice, and to you, me, and her? What was it harder to work on this last film because of you putting yourself into it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the last movie was also real because my pregnancy was real.
Right.
So what was hard about that one was how I physically was feeling, the fact that COVID was actually happening. There was a lot of doubt as to whether we were going to actually be able to finish the movie, what the movie was going to be about. I mean, like, we were doing it in real time because the world was changing constantly. So it was like, now you can go to doctor's appointments. Now you can't. Now the coffee shop down the road has been closed. Now you're not allowed to see anyone. Now they're saying that it might be going away. Now they're saying that it's not going to go away and everyone's going to, so it was like a lot of confusing information. So that was the part that was hard for that movie. But I think that for that movie, it was easier for us to come together and be like, oh, look, the world is in a really crazy place. How do we come together and make something during this time? Whereas this movie was a little bit more like us, facing each other. So that's a little bit harder psychologically, because it was like, what are we really trying to say? And how do we stay kind to each other, getting the point across that we're trying to get, and be really honest, And the other thing that I really wanted in this movie too is that this couple, this woman is the primary breadwinner of, and that was really important to me too, because I think that's something that has become a lot more common too, that we don't see a lot. And there's a dynamic there that can be very interesting and strange and affects the marriage. And so it was like, we didn't want that to be what the movie's about, but we wanted it to have like a backdrop of the
That was you addressed something that, like you said, is more and more common.
Yeah.
That the woman is successful and dynamic, and the male is home, and just because of gender expectations, the man doesn't feel like enough. When they're home taking care of the child, and the character, what was the name of the character of the your husband's name?
Oh,
Not
Hash.
Hash, right?
Yeah.
He had like a little bit like, I want to show you how that I am also a productive member of this family. It was so real. So go see that. But this and please follow Selena Ringel. Where can they follow you, Selena?
On Instagram at Selena Ringel, SELINARINGEL.
Yeah, because you have to see both her films, Single Mother by Choice, and me,
and her. And The Best People also is on Amazon. It's available right now, and it's also a great movie that I wrote that my husband directed. And You, Me, and Her should be coming out soon, so I'll also keep you guys posted with that.
Selena, you are amazing. You do so much, but you do it so well. Because there's some people that do a lot, but they do something better than the other. But I really like your writing. Your acting is wonderful, and your comedy. Everybody go see that when it's out, or it is out on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. Yeah. Thank
you so much. It's been wonderful. It's like having a girl talk. Because,
thank you.
Welcome back. Los Angeles' biggest attraction is the glitz of Hollywood. But how did LA become the home to the biggest movie industry in the world? Well, it was back in 1910 when Hollywood was established by real estate magnate H.J. Whitley, known as the father of Hollywood. He built up sections of Los Angeles then known as Hollywoodland and now simply Hollywood, which became the site of the major movie studios we know today. Carl Laemmle, Adolph Zukor, William Fox, Louis B. Mayer, and Harry Warner, all Jewish immigrants who are credited for defining Hollywood as we know it today. And if you live in LA or are planning to visit, Check out the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures, which has a permanent exhibition called Hollywoodland, Jewish Founders and the Making of a Movie Capital. It's about who and why Hollywood was created.
Hollywoodland, Jewish Founders and the Making of a Movie Capital traces the history of filmmaking in Los Angeles all the way back to the beginning and spotlights the Jewish founders of the Hollywood studio system.
Catch it and see how Hollywood dreams did come true for these movie moguls and how it has been the home to many dreams. That's our show for today. I'm Bel Hernandez Castillo. Thanks for watching.
With